How to feel better, my 4-step process to self-coach to a happier, healthier, more enhanced well-being version of you. Hi, I'm Ruth and I'm passionate about helping people live the life that they want to live on their terms. I talk about coaching, positive psychology, neuroscience, and business growth, because if you want to live a fulfilling life, then you want to be going from a 0 to a +5 in positive psychology, rather than focusing on bringing you up to a 0. So obviously I have my book, and my book is based on a process. It's a 4-step process, and it's a process that you can follow that will help you to self-coach to feel better. And I think that's basically what we all want, don't we? We want to feel happier, we want to feel healthier, we want to be more connected to ourselves. Now, it's slightly different self-coaching than coaching. Because obviously when you're coaching, you have somebody alongside you who's going to support you and challenge you. So when you're self-coaching, you have to take that challenge on board. But for many of us, we know that maybe something isn't quite right, or we know that we want a change, but we're not really sure why. Because our lives are complex. There are lots and lots of different elements going on for us. So my first step is to really get clear on what is going on for you right now. And there's various different ways that we can do that. We can use a tool like the good old wheel of life, where we look at the different elements of our life that are important to us. Maybe work, family, relationships, health, money, spirituality, career. We look at least 8 of those that are important to us, and we assess where we are on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being exactly where we want to be and 0 being nowhere near it. A tool like that can be great at the beginning, just to give you that clarity on, okay, so maybe it is my health and my relationships I need to focus on right now, or actually it's my career and my finances. So whatever it is, you can start to get that idea of where your energy needs to focus first. We can't change everything at once. And in a way, I'm talking to myself, because I have that brain that's like, okay, let's just change everything. But that's really, really difficult. So at the beginning, when you're looking at where you are, when you're understanding yourself better, when you're seeking to really think, okay, where are my strengths? What am I really, really good at? And maybe what am I not so good at? And where are those elements in my life that are actually going really well? Where am I thriving? And where am I surviving? When you've got that, you can then say, okay, so let's look at which of those is a priority right now. And let's put them in order. Because if you want to do this properly, you want to actually make yourself a project. Okay, I'm going to really work on feeling better. And because I know that there are lots of different elements, I'm going to start with one. And then I can build from there. And it's much, much, much more sustainable than thinking, I've got to change everything. Because there will be some elements of your life, wherever you are, that you'll be like, actually, that's pretty good. And let me celebrate that goodness as well. So first of all, it's all about looking what's going on for you. How are you feeling? What are you thinking about the different aspects of your life? And so you've got that as a starting point. That's like your ground zero. You know all of those things, and you can celebrate those good things, and you can think about where you want to focus. And then when you've got that, you go on to step 2. So I'll hold it up again. Step 2 is really about that clarity, that future clarity. Okay, so maybe I'm feeling a bit sluggish in my health. Okay, what do I want to be feeling? What do I want to be different? Maybe I want to have energy when I wake up in the morning. Maybe I want to avoid that 3 p.m. slump. Maybe I want to sleep better. Maybe I want to be able to run for the bus and not feel like I need to have a long sit down afterwards. Whatever it is for you, actually then going to, right, this is where I want to be, and imagining yourself being there. And I think this is where we can sometimes get lost in coaching, because people talk about creating this vision for themselves or creating this perfect version of you. Think about what feels realistic for you right now, even if it's a stretch. But don't do something that is so far out of reality that you know that you're never going to get there. So I might say I'm going to run a half marathon. I did one in an hour 45 many years ago, but maybe I'll say I'm going to run a half marathon in 2.5 hours, less than 2.5 hours. That still feels like a stretch to me. But I wouldn't say I'm going to win gold at the Olympics in my running. You know, that would never have been a possibility for me. So it's about putting it into context. Maybe I'm going to, again, like, it's rare that you go from a job earning, let's say 35k to a job earning 350k. So think about the steps. Think about what that next step is for you. And think about what that's going to give you. How are you going to feel differently? What are you going to be thinking? We can always build. So get clarity on where next. And yes, of course, you can use things like SMART goals if they work for you. And they do work for some people. But for other people, it might be more around a feeling. But allow yourself some kind of idea of measurement and time. Okay? I know that I want to, have more energy, and I'm going to be able to assess that and I want to be feeling like that by the end of May, whatever it may be. So giving yourself some kind of parameters will help you to be able to measure. And actually, I was reading some evidence recently that if we measure things daily, we're more likely to stay on track because we're able to see those marginal gains. And I'll be really interested in looking at some more research on that, because I think it can depend on the person, and I'm always about doing what works for you. But if we just say, at some point in the future, then that can go into our list of not today. And I think we all have that list, don't we? So then it's about a plan. Okay, so what do I need to do to go from step 1, where I am, to step 2, where I want to be? What are the actions that I can take? And what do I need to believe about myself? What do I need to be thinking? How do I need to be showing up? Like, maybe that's a bit more when we're getting a little bit more strategic. When will I do this? We know with things like habit stacking, if we link a new habit onto an old habit, we're more likely to do it. And I've looked at lots and lots of research, and people talk about making things habitual. I don't believe that we need to do it every day. But so maybe it's about finding those windows when you can do something. Maybe it's about making sure that you are in the right state. So, giving yourself space and time. But it is about the small things that you can do. It's about starting to step into that person that you want to become. Imagining, okay, if I'm that high energy person, if I'm that person who's got that killer new job, how will I be acting? And what can I take from there to my life right now? And then the final step, which is a really important step, is about integrating and embedding the change. So when we are making a change, it can be really challenging, especially if we're doing something new. And we can go into this black and white or all or nothing thinking. For example, oh my gosh, I think I did this like every January the 1st for about 15 years of my life. I'm going to run every day in January. Great, sounds amazing. 14th of January, I look outside, it's freezing, it's raining. And actually I wasn't going to drink alcohol either, but I had a few glasses of wine last night, so I feel a bit rough. I'm not going to run. And then I don't run any other day in January because I've got into that all or nothing thinking. It's either every day or not at all. So I would say when you're integrating, think about giving yourself the room to actually sometimes make a mistake and allowing yourself okay, well, that was learning. I recognize that maybe that goal was a little bit too much. Maybe I'll reduce it back. But I'm being really I'm being really forgiving and compassionate to myself, and I'm going to get back on it. I'm going to start again now, not tomorrow, now. And maybe I'm not running today, maybe I'm walking. Or maybe I'm not applying for another job today, but maybe I'm going to reflect on exactly the type of job that I want. So it is all about you taking the steps. Now, when you're self-coaching, what you might want to do and what can work really well is actually imagining that you're having that dialogue with yourself. So you might want to do this writing it down, or you might actually be talking it into your phone. Okay, so where am I right now? Let's assess. And it might be that you already know the area that you want to focus on. Where do I want to be? What can I do? What are those steps? And then how am I going to make sure that I make this happen? How am I going to reflect along the way? How am I going to recenter when things maybe don't work out? And if you do this, this is how you integrate change. So this process is something you can do for anything, and it's really, really simple. So I'd love to know what you're going to change using this process. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, I'd like you to like and subscribe. And remember to keep abreast of all of our new videos. Just ring that bell and you'll be notified when any new ones come out. And we'd love to hear feedback from you. So if you'd like to post beneath your biggest takeaway, and equally anything that you'd like to hear me talk about, we're always open to feedback.